Hey everybody, Ryan MacDonald here, and I am joined by George Batog. How you doing, George?
Yeah, good to see you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You are the that senior producer working on Cabela's. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right.
So let me give you a quick idea of what we're going to be seeing today. We're going to be looking at two Cabela styles. One of them is a hunting simulator. That's hunting expeditions. That's basically trying to capture the real feel of an authentic hunt. So it is all about trying to stalk your trophies, like moving in the shadows, watching everything you do and planning out your hunt, lining up the best possible shot, like trying to get a kill shot, one kill. It's all about respecting the animals. The other game, Cabela's Dangerous Hunts, is more of an action game, a hunting thriller. You get a lot of close-up encounters with very aggressive animals, so it's more of a dramatic kind of experience. So
would you go as far as to say simulation versus arcade?
It's not an arcade title. It's more like an action adventure sort of thing. But it does also have an arcade mode, so it does cover that as well.
Okay.
So hunting expeditions, that's, as I said, like a hunting simulator. Cabela's fans have been asking for this type of title for a while now. In this game, you can actually walk around the environment, go anywhere you want. You choose where you hunt, what you hunt, and when you hunt it.
Let's jump in and see what you got. I mean, career mode, I can see that plain as day. What are the other two on either side of that?
So as you can see, we have a very wide selection of animals. I think that anything you can think of, we probably have it. We have deer, we have wolves, bears, we even have lions and elephants. So the hunting is going to be split between North America and Africa. Most of it occurs in North America just because that's the best location for hunting. Now, before we go in the hunt, we need to select a firearm, and as you can see, like all the firearms have very specific stats and specs that make them more suitable for hunting one type of game or another. For this hunt, we're probably going to be okay with picking the classic 223 bolt action. It's a no fuss, simple rifle, but it gets the job done.
So no weapon licenses, no Winchester, no Weatherby?
No, like one of the reasons for that is we actually have a gun builder where we can switch different parts, and it becomes more complicated when you do that, like with licensed firearms.
You think they would just build it in so you could order the part online? And be like, I need this bolt for my real.
I see no problem with that. Right, so the game locations are actually like full of wildlife, and what we've tried to do is allow you just to experience nature as like never before. Like try to provide them with the closest thing to actually hunting in real woods. So you're going to have to watch for the direction the wind is blowing, because that's going to tell you where you want to be relative to the animals. Like for instance, like most of the time you want to be downwind, right? Because in this game the animals can hear you, smell you, and see you coming. So you got to do everything possible, to keep your presence as unnoticed as you can. So once we started the hunt, it's a good idea to get a feel of the surroundings, and we have a great tool for this. It's called the Hunter Sense. What it does, it shows us the best routes we can take as like the best cover routes. It highlights the location of spawning places, and it also shows the positioning of the shooting rests. Now we're going to head to that hilltop spawning place out there and try to get a lay of the land. So these vantage points are very important because they provide us with an overview of the map, and they pinpoint the location of the possible trophies, right? In this case, it looks like there's a herd of white-tailed deer right across this ravine. Now, we could just run over there, but typically that just results in everything getting spooked. We don't want to do that, so let's see if we can come up with a more strategic, tactical approach to the whole thing. There's a great new tool called the Strategic View, which gives us this overview, synoptic map where we can plan out our hunt and optimize its results. So the first thing you want to do in Strategic View is just mark down the animal you want to hunt. In this case, we have a white-tailed buck. Now, notice those icons that show a hunter aiming. Those mark the location of the shooting rests. Shooting rests are extremely important in this game because you can steady your firearm, which greatly reduces the gun sway when you're aiming. It looks like the one on the right is closest to our trophy, so let's try to head for that one. The thing about Strategic View is actually it allows you to plot out the route you want to take to get there. So in this case, we probably will have to cross this ravine. So that's probably going to be done by scaling this mountainside. Let's try to plot out our route, set up some waypoints so we don't get lost. Okay, so once we've done that, now is the time to actually follow that route and actually execute the plan. So we're going to have to do a little bit of climbing here. This is a good example of the freedom you get in this game. We could have gone the left route and basically come from a different side. So in this case, we actually have to do the climbing thing. It's not very complicated, but Okay, so once we're there on the other side, we're going to have to reassess the situation because, like, at any times the animals can get spooked. They can sense you coming. You got to be careful not to make noise and not to expose your profile.
I imagine up on the. How can we tell which way the wind's blowing right now?
That can tell by actually looking at the grass, like the way it's swaying in the wind and all that. And you can also tell that in a strategic view. You see the leaves like blowing across the map. That's the direction the wind's blowing from. So now that we've made it to the other side, we're going to try to get in the shooting rest as stealthily as possible. And we're going to use hunter sense again. The blue highlighted areas are the ones that offer the best cover. So what we want to do is just crouch and get into that shooting rest like quietly.
I need to find
the trophies are up ahead, and the one we've just marked in strategic view is highlighted. So moving slowly.
Is it yards or meters?
Yes,
Yards?
that's yards, yeah. Okay, we're almost there. So once we're in the shooting rest, like the challenge becomes lining up a clean shot, right? We want to take down these animals in one shot, and for that you need to be aiming at the valves. You need to make sure, like when you pull the trigger, the animal's going to go down. You don't just want to wound them and then have them like running around. So typically you want the animal to be sideways because that gives you access to its valves. So we're just going to wait for the best setup here. Now that we're using the shooting rest, like notice how stable the view is. Like if we had been shooting from standing, it would have been swaying all over the place. So it's a lot harder to take the shot. So.
Oh man!
Awesome. Well, so you'll notice that when you shoot an animal, they sometimes will like run around a bit, even after they've been like basically like wounded mortally. That occurs typically when you shoot them in the lungs. A hard shot results like more often in the animal dropping. So it's very much like in real life. Now let's go claim this trophy. Now once you claim the trophy, you get the stats window that means like going to tell like a lot of things about the way you hunted it. For instance, like you get the trophy score, which is very important. Obviously, you get the shooting distance and the gunsmith points. The gunsmith points can be accumulated as you go through career mode, and they can be used to customize your firearms. So there's like a parts you can exchange and basically you can turn like this rifle into completely something else at some point. Like you can take like these very long shots with it. And so this is pretty much in a nutshell what Hunting Expedition does. It's all about the thrill of the authentic hunt. It's all about lining up the correct shot. It's all about trying to get in there undetected. So now we're going to switch to something a little bit different, Dangerous Hunts, which is a hunting thriller.
All right, George, now we're going to get out of the chair for a second because you have a peripheral you want to show and another game as well, Cabela's Dangerous Hunts 2013. What is this thing you have in your hands now?
This is the new peripheral that we created for Dangerous Hunts 2013. It's called the Top Shot Fearmaster, and it has this unique sensor fusion technology that basically merges input from a heart rate monitor that's using these metal sensor pads and an infrared camera to basically create like a unique firearm experience on the consoles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk you through like how this works. What the software does is looking for breathing-induced patterns in the player's heartbeat, and it's trying to correlate those with the data from the infrared camera that's about the hand stability, and it comes up with what we call the hunter's focus level, which is how likely they are to line up a clean shot. This has enabled us to create like, this amazing experience on the console. So let's just go into one of the levels and see how that works. So what the Fearmaster does is it constantly monitors the player's heart rate and hand stability, which we will see displayed in the lower left-hand corner.
So that's your real heart rate right there.
Exactly. So you'll notice that basically as my heart rate is up and is like very irregular, I'm going to have poor focus. Now, as I stabilize and as I get calmer, I'm doing my breathing exercises. Special breathing techniques that's used by snipers. You're going to notice that the crosshairs converge, and if I have anything in my crosshairs, it's going to zoom further in and it's going to show the vitals of the target. So it's actually pretty exciting. So let's just go and step into one of the game's encounters.
Okay.
That main line up ahead is our marksman target, meaning that if we can take him down in a single shot, the rest of the pack will scatter.
Awesome.
So the whole pride will just run away. Otherwise, if we just shoot the wrong thing, they're going to charge us. Now, that'll be killing the main line is the thing to do in the game, but just for the purpose of fun, I'm going to intentionally miss the shot and show you how it looks when you don't do the right thing.
I can't imagine it's going to turn out well for a hunter here.
well, we're just about to see that. So. I'm going to take down the lioness instead. And chaos ensues. Oh, God. So the animals are very, very fast, and they're smart. Like they usually will try to distract you. Like one or two will be up front, and the other will try to circle around and basically hit you from behind. You can do all this awesome stuff in the game. Like you can dodge them. There's this thing called the killer instinct that basically allowed us to like quickly turn with an ammo and have a shot at as well. So this is what happens if you don't do the right thing. You get into some very difficult battles. I mean, you can win them, and if you're into action and all that, you can certainly do that. But obviously, there's a smarter way, which I'm going to demonstrate right now.
All right.
Which is taking out the male lion.
Going back and doing it the right way.
Exactly. I mean, there's no right or wrong way. Like it's Yeah. But this is definitely the smarter, the faster.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again. Only this time it's going to be the male lion. Oh, nice. There you have it. So see, the rest of the pack now just ran away.
Clears out.
So this is pretty much how the Fear Master works. If you want to try it out.
I'd love to. Do you mind?
Sure. Just make sure you have proper contact with the metal pads at all times, because this is how the peripheral senses your heart rate.
Okay.
In order to look down the sights, like look for the scope, you have to keep the B button pressed. I'd suggest you don't walk into the encounter before you kind of like practice the whole thing. So I think we're going to have to restart this checkpoint just to get that situation. So let me quickly. There we go. Sorry. Okay, but I think we have time to just like this whole thing.
So same encounter.
Yes. Just like it looks around. Okay, so what you want to do is look down the scope, holding the B button, and then keep the peripheral as steady as you can. Try to relax and try to basically calm yourself. There you go. That was pretty fast. Actually, your heart rate is pretty good. So now that you've mastered that, like let's walk into the encounter. And remember, try to take the male lion down, because otherwise it gets really difficult. Okay, so again, look down the sides, like for the scope. Try to keep the firearm steady. Try to breathe in, breathe out, like just as you would with a. If you do that, oh, that was awesome. That was pretty fast. So yeah, that's the smart way to approach the situation.
That's pretty cool.
So that's in a nutshell Top Shot Fear Master. It's a great new tech. We think it's one of the most advanced peripherals on the market right now.
Right on. So we looked at 2 games today. Tell us when folks at home get their hands not only on this, but both titles.
It's worth mentioning that Dangerous Hunts 2013 also works with Top Shot Elite, which is the peripheral we released like 2 years ago. So if you have that, it will, obviously it doesn't have the heart rate sensing technology, so you would be missing out on some of that.
How does that work then? Do you just not get that little extra push in?
I mean, the game is also playable with a regular controller, but again, you don't get the full experience. Like the whole thing comes with a Top Shot Fear Master. So we hope you enjoyed our presentation of Dangerous Hunts 2013, and look forward to hearing from you.
That's super cool. Right on, man. Thank you so much, George.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So when should folks be expecting to see more on Cabela's Weather Dangerous Hunts 2013 or the Expedition?
Well, it's again, since we're releasing like on October 23rd.
Okay.
So we're waiting to see like what the reaction is. We're pretty excited about the whole thing. So.
Oh, excellent. Thanks for coming by.